The Tragedy of Women in Kosovo, Janissary Practices during the Reign of Sultan Ahmed I. At the beginning of the 17th century, Kosovo was part of the Ottoman Empire, but it suffered from the excesses of the Janissaries, who frequently rebelled due to weak central control. After the death of Sultan Ahmed III in 1603, his son, Ahmed I, ascended to the throne at the age of 14. However, he struggled to reign in the Janissaries, who exploited the state's weakness to impose their dominance over the provinces, including Kosovo. The Janissaries were known for their military prowess, but during this period, they became a growing concern within the empire. In 1606, after the signing of the Peace of Żywiec with Austria, they found themselves without major battles to fight. As a result, they turned their aggression towards local populations. In cities like Prizren and Pec, they imposed heavy taxes and abducted women by force, unchecked by a state preoccupied with internal struggles. Rural women suffered the most from the Janissaries' practices, as villages were repeatedly raided. In the winter of 1608, a Janissary unit attacked the village of Glogovac, abducting dozens of women who were later transported to the slave market in Istanbul. Some villagers tried to resist, but their primitive weapons were no match for the advanced Ottoman firearms. The abductions were not the only horror. Some Janissaries established illicit harems within their camps. Living far from Istanbul, these soldiers exercised absolute power without accountability. In 1610, Grand Vizier Nessa Pasha sent a delegation to investigate complaints, but they returned with no significant results, as the Janissaries' authority in these regions exceeded that of the state itself. By 1612, complaints had increased, and a Kosovan elder named Iskandar Hoxha led protests against the Janissaries' excesses. The response was brutal. Several villages were burned, dozens were killed, and women suffered horrific abuses. News of the massacres did not reach Istanbul until months later, by which time the victims had already been relegated to the forgotten pages of history. Although reports of the atrocities reached Istanbul, Sultan Ahmed I hesitated to confront the Janissaries, fearing a coup as they had done to some of his predecessors. However, in 1614, under pressure from his mother, Mahpaker Kosum Sultan, he ordered a campaign led by Grand Vizier Kalender Zaid Ali Pasha, who began a purge of the rebellious soldiers. In the summer of 1615, Ottoman forces confronted a Janissary camp in Prizren, leading to a fierce battle that resulted in the deaths of hundreds of rebellious soldiers. Kosovo suffered for decades from the Janissaries' excesses, with villages destroyed, families scattered, and women sold in slave markets. They were not completely eliminated until Sultan Mahmud II's reign in 1826, in what became known as the Auspicious Incident. The stories of Kosovo's women during this era are still told today, reflecting one of the darkest periods in Ottoman history.